All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back with another episode of In Response To.
Finally.
Finally. We took a little bit of a hiatus, a break there for the holidays.
Yeah.
Because our last episode was in November. And
I think it was like in the 20s of November or something.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't know. Late-ish November.
Late-ish November. And then we were like, with all the holidays, we'll wait and do one in January. And a lot happened in I guess, that time period. So this might be a little bit of a longer show for you guys to enjoy. But if for whatever reason you guys haven't seen us on any of the previous episodes, I am Nan Man, or the real Nan Man. And down below in the overlay here is Muataran, or Brandon. So
what's up?
Yeah. Of course, you guys can check any of the old episodes on YouTube, youtube.com/NanMan. There's a whole section for them there. But this is our modern podcast in response to... There's been some events since last time, a couple decks to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the upcoming events. Oath of Gaethwatch has officially been released. We had a new ban list.
Yeah.
There's Pro Tour coming up. So there's a lot to get into. So, Brandon, where do you want to start today?
Well, let's start with the past modern events, I think. We might as well start in the past first. So you want to go ahead and get GP Pittsburgh in there?
Yeah, sounds good. So GP Pittsburgh, if you guys were paying attention around that November time, was the actual GP that I went and attended with a couple of my groups of friends.
Right.
And it was a pretty large event. 2,600 and some players attended it. And if you guys were paying attention to Reddit or Twitter, there was a lot of...
That's some issues.
Yeah, a lot of issues. A lot of hate towards the organizers for the event, which, it's...
Warranted or not.
Yeah, when we get spoiled by, like, Star City and Channel Fireball, it's very easy for people to kind of jump up and hate on different organizations.
I don't know. I feel like we could hold everyone to their standard, right?
Yeah, I think... if that's what we're used to, and they clearly know what they're doing, why would we not want other people to... Yeah, so the event was run kind of poorly, but there was a lot of great players that went and attended the event. I actually made day 2 of the event, and then bombed out day 2 because day 2 is much harder than day 1. But there was a lot of players that ended up playing, and this is another one of our GPs that we had Twin end up winning it. It was actually Jess Guy Twin. As the first place victor there, running Kiki in there, running the Resto Angels, that sort of Wall of Omen aspect of it. So just kind of splashing the white. Also for the path, I think the Jeskai list is stronger in the mirror just because of the access to the path in the main and just a little bit extra stuff in there. So
I think it's kind of the same as like the green splashing list. Like it's better versus other twin decks because you get to play Tarmogoyf, but overall, it loses a little bit for stuff like Affinity, just because you take damage from your lands, and you don't really gain that much from the removal. You do gain Path with the white version, but again, like you're still just taking so much damage from your lands. You'd probably rather just be blue-red in that matchup.
True.
You're not playing the Kiki Jiki in your normal blue-red twin deck, but I guess this matchup doesn't actually matter anymore.
Not anymore. And actually, out of the top 8, there was 2 additional twin players, and they were playing the kind of more standard blue-red twin version. We also had an Infinity player in there, Grixis Control, Scape Shift, and actually 2 Affinity players, yeah. Craig Resco was rocking out the green-white aggro list.
Playing the 2 worst colors in Magic.
It's basically just what you'd expect with the green-white list. Here's some
vials. No, a green-white creature deck with 4 vials and 4 paths, and like everything else in the deck is either a land or a creature.
Yeah.
When literally half of your deck is creatures, it's Craig Westcott. It's like everybody else would have put, something else in here. I'm trying to think what the spells are that you would play, but I can't even think of them.
I don't know. Those aren't my colors.
Yeah, I don't play those colors. Well, I play green, but...
Yeah, true. So it was, good list of players. What you'd really expect for that sort of meta in November of the decks that did very well. Some of the other, top 32 was,
Well, there's one interesting deck in here.
Oh, which was the interesting one?
The Titan Scape Shift. It's a red-green Scapeshift deck. It's got the creatures are 4 Sakura Tribe Elder and 4 Primeval Titan. So, ramp and then ramp. It's got 4 Search for Tomorrow, kind of standard for the Scapeshift decks. There are 4 Scapeshifts, 4 Explorers, 2 Farseeks, all kind of normal. These are kind of cards you'll see anyway.
Yeah.
The interesting things are a Primal Command, not always seen, but you can go find your Primeval Titan. It's just the 5th Titan that gains life, or maybe it shuffles your library back or something. 2 Commune with Lava, which is really interesting. I think the idea here is you have a bunch of mana and you're just looking for your combo. End of your opponent's turn, you tap like 9 mana and do this for 7.
It's pretty scary, actually.
Yeah, I mean, just draw 7, really. If you can do that, like if you got 9 mana. But this deck's very good at making a lot of mana, so I think Commune with Lava is just a really good fit here. We've got 4 Relics main, which is kind of weird. I'm not actually sure why those are there. And the really interesting one, I think, is 4 Colony Heart Expedition. So that's it's the quest counter enchantment for green. So it's got landfall. Put a quest counter on it. Remove 3 quest counters from Colony Heart Expedition and sacrifice it. Search your library for 2 basic lands. Put them into the battlefield tapped. So it's a double ramping growth for 2 mana, but you gotta put some quest counters on there. But I think when you pop this, like, it's just so powerful.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like it'll be too hard to put that many quest counters.
Oh no!
With all the searching and everything that you're doing to get lands, so.
Oh, exactly. I think you can pop this like turn 3 if you need to.
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, I don't see as much of the Scapeshifts list, but this is one of the ones that did make top 8. So clearly the player knew what he was doing with the deck. So.
Yeah, it's a cool deck too. Like just forgoing the blue, just playing green red, but you get Primeval Titan. Like. This is a very powerful card. That's kind of what, the Bloom deck did, is just play a Primeval Titan, and it's so powerful that it can do weird shit with that deck. But in general, they just attack with a 6/6 or like an 8/6, and that's how they kill you. Or did. So weird. And then the sideboard, it's actually pretty straightforward. It's all 3 ofs. It's Obstinate Baloth, Nature's Claim, Anger the Gods, Crumble to Dust, and Rending Volley. So... pretty simple sideboard. Sometimes it's kind of nice. You see a lot of 1-of sideboards in Modern. Like I do this. Should have like 8 1-ofs. But this deck apparently doesn't want that.
No, it's just very straightforward. Of what it's like. All right, I just need this for this matchup. I just need these 3 for that matchup, and just adjust it accordingly.
You'll see that in linear decks. They'll just have a very straightforward sideboard to go with their very straightforward main deck.
So was there any other decks that you saw from the list, top 8 or top 32, that stood out to you besides that one?
I mean, there was the Jeskai Twin, but there's no real point in talking about it.
Yeah.
There's Craig Wesco's deck, I think, is actually just like a bad deck that he plays because he only plays green-white aggro.
Because it's Craig Wesco.
Yeah, like when you're putting Brimaz in your Modern deck, you're trying to force it, like... You're not doing it because it's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other stuff like the Living Ends and the other decks that you'd see popping up, but nothing really in the top 32 that's like super exciting. I mean, there was a black blue fairy deck again that you keep seeing these like every so often, like the 1-of player that's does pretty well.
Just really wants to play fairies.
Yeah.
It's like Bitter Blossom's unbanned now. It's good, right? Like, sure.
Can we play this? No.
Looks like there was an Infect list, some Red Green Sean, Jund, kind of the normal stuff.
Yeah.
There was a Mardu burn list. I didn't look too much at that, but that one's near the top up here.
For our top 32.
Yeah, it's in the top 32. I think it's like the second, or it's right below the Blue Black Fairies. No, it's not. That's Affinity. Yeah, it's right 2 above the Blue Black Fairies.
Okay.
So. Swift Spears, Grim Lava Masters, Goblin Gods, Eidolons, same thing as this is all mono red so far. Rift Bolt and Lava Spike for sorceries, so not playing Bump in the Night, which is what I thought you'd be playing black.
Yeah, I don't see any black.
Is it in the sideboard?
Nope.
Nope, it's just a mislabeled deck. Alright, there's no black mana in this deck, it's just green, white, and red. Alright, well, that's stupid. Why did they name it Mardu Birdman?
They lied to us.
I wish I'd looked at it before I mentioned it. I just figured they wouldn't be stupid like that. Alright, I lied. It's just a normal burn deck.
Just kidding, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, we thought we had something interesting, but no.
All right, so moving on, there was a couple other events that we had.
Yeah.
Some of the SCG events, one of which we had SCG Cincinnati.
Yep.
So we can get a little bit into that. This was one of the ones where we had an Amulet Bloom deck win.
Yeah.
Yay.
Had one win and one other in the top 8.
Yes.
And actually, Bobby Fortinelli, the guy who won, put an article on SCG, I think, about how Amulet Bloom is too good and that it should be banned. So looks like they listened.
Well, I mean, I did you watch any of that weekend?
I did.
I just remember watching one of the top 8 players sit there, mulligan down to like 5 or 6, not play anything turn 1, and then proceed to kill his opponent on turn 2.
Oh, yeah, it's just really dumb.
Like, when you can do that, that's a little bit too much.
It's stupid now, yeah. It's just too good. So yeah, Amulet Bloom did end up winning. I think the interesting deck here is Kiki Cord,
Yes.
the second runner-up deck here.
Jeff Hoogland's.
Yeah, Jeff Hoogland's deck. Really interesting. It feels like one of those old pod decks in ways. Like, it's got a lot of the same cards. We've got Birds of Paradise, Eternal Witness, Orzhov Pontiff even. Ravelark. Those kind of like toolboxy creature cards.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also just like a random win with Resto Angel Kiki. There's only one Kiki Jiki, so it really is just like a Court of Calling Fear Kiki Jiki / Resto and finish off the combo. It's really interesting. Like, there's even a Pride Mage, just so many toolbox creatures because just 4 Court of Calling main. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, and he has so much experience with this deck that that's why he's able to do so well.
Yeah.
But this is going to be something that you might start seeing a little bit more of from players. They're like, I really just want to play stuff where I make a bunch of dudes with Kiki and so on and so forth, since we don't have Twin anymore. So maybe there'll be some more Kiki Cord players coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a super solid deck with just the creatures that he has in there.
Yeah, are there any creatures here that you're kind of confused on or like surprised about? I'm kind of surprised by Courser. I feel like Courser's like a main deck sideboard card versus burn, and it doesn't. You don't lose that much by including it, but I don't know if you gain that much by including it either.
Like, I'm not really sure. Like, but again, like when I played a core deck, I just played the Abzan chords where it's just the combo pieces and do that style. But like, I'm not as familiar with why he would feel like, you know what, I need that extra life for this, or I just need an extra blocker out here until I can get things assembled. But I mean, he's got Wall of Omens, Wall of Roots, and he's got these blockers. So I'm not sure. Maybe the life is that important to him.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you just want something that gets some card advantage in a creature. Like, it does do that. Like, you just play lands off the top. It's like drawing a card. So, kind of interesting. I mean, I've been thinking about Courser for a black-green deck, but this is very different.
Yes.
So, cool here. He's also playing 2P in Kieran Nillar. Pretty popular card. These are $5, and they were an intro promo. That is so rare. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Wow.
Like, the intro promos are $12. That's very... It's very expensive. Like, if you bought that intro deck, you just like made most of your money back through the Pink Nillar. It's kind of interesting. Generally, the intro promos are like 50 cents. But I guess this one's just so playable in Modern specifically.
Yeah, which is working out nicely.
Yeah, no kidding. Looking at the lands, there's nothing too crazy here. There's a Firelit Thicket, which isn't something that you'll generally see, but like 1 Ghost Quarter, 1 Horizon Canopy, 1 Raging Ravine. Just kind of all over the place here.
Let me get as many lands as I can.
Yeah, as many one-of lands as possible. And then for our spells, we have 4 chords, which we've talked about, and 4 paths. No lightning bolts in this red deck.
Yeah, I think he's prioritizing the path just to help deal with Twin and deal with like Bloom and stuff like that. Okay,
yeah, that makes sense. So for both those decks.
Yeah, just during that time, I feel like it might have been better off. But
what do you think about a sideboard here? Is there anything here that's particularly interesting?
Spellskite, Fulminator.
It's kind of a lot of the cards you'll see anyway.
Okay. I mean, he does have the 3 Helix in his board.
Yeah, the 3 Lightning Helix. I assume for like any kind of aggro matchup. Very good versus like Naya or Affinity.
Yeah.
Just gain 3 on your Lightning Bolt's pretty good.
I do like that he's got the Eidolon in there.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Is it just for combo, I think?
Yeah.
Like, if someone's going to be storming, he just chords for an Nylon of the Rhetoric.
And they just feel real sad real quick.
Yeah. They're just real sad, yeah. So kind of sweet there. I do like this deck, and like you said, Jeff Hoogland's been playing it a lot. How do you, I guess, yeah, how do you see it going forward, like, in light of the bannings? Is this deck changed at all? Is it better or worse? I don't know.
I don't feel like you need to run all the paths now
Okay.
in the main, so you might, like you were saying, maybe put the bolts in there.
I think why Lightning Bolt is so much better than Path to Exile, especially now that Primeval Titan's not like a card you need to kill, and Deceiver XR presumably isn't either. Like, Path to Exile lost so much.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't see much more that you need to change. Like,
yeah,
like the creature base is so solid as is. Yeah, that I don't think it's anything that you really need to worry about with it.
Yeah, I think this deck's still pretty good. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't be. It was good before. I don't like. Is it good for Steel Eldrazi deck? I guess is the question. Like,
oh, true.
Who knows about those matchups? Yeah, I'm sure it's bad for John, which is just great because needed another bad matchup.
I'm not looking forward to this. Somebody at my shop has already built it, and I got lucky to dodge it last week, so I didn't have to play against it.
Yeah,
but I was
can beat it.
But in theory, it can.
Yeah, it can.
Wasteland Strangler is pretty good.
Wasteland Strangler is real good. So is Thoughtseize. It's just like a good card.
Yeah.
Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek are still very good, and they're all playing black. So I think I haven't seen a list without any of the discard spells, so that's pretty relevant too. So is there anything else in this this SCG Open that you saw you liked?
Well, just like there was in the top 10 the black-white token list.
Yeah, the black metal Eldrazi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or token list. Other than that, like there was a gifts. Yeah, so many Trons and Twin players in this. Ad Nauseam also made it up in the top 30. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, nothing else besides just the Eldrazi.
Yeah, there's a Hate Bears deck, but it looks pretty stock. Hate Bears is just kind of one of those decks. It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. And a little hateful.
Yeah, a little weird and a little hateful. Bunch of 2/2s. Yeah. Just gonna mess you up.
Dahlia, Leona, and Arbiter. Just annoying stuff.
I will note there's also quite a bit of Affinity, so get used to Affinity and Tron. I think those decks are just two of the best right now.
Yes.
With the bannings, like, I don't know what else is better. The Eldrazi deck, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to be the three
big ones. I feel like it's Tron and Eldrazi are like the two powerful decks that are just trying to do their thing and be unfair. Yeah. And then there's going to be like this subsection of decks that just punishes them, like Burn and Infect and stuff like that. Because the Infect vs. Tron matchup it's a joke. I think Tron loses so hard.
now they lose so hard unless they go, here's my turn 3 Karn, and then you can't come back from that because we have no way to interact with Karn.
Right. Did you just kill them before that?
If we're lucky, but sometimes we're not lucky enough. Like if we're sitting there and they're on the play, they play their land, and we don't. Our first Infector is turn 2, Blighted Agent. Then their turn 3, they Karn and get rid of our Blighted Agent.
Yeah, I can imagine that being pretty bad for Infect.
Yeah. So if they don't have that, then it's great for us.
Then it's great, yeah. I think it's just Tron doesn't have that much real interaction. You're right. I mean, Karn is just insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the best card. Best Planeswalker ever. Probably not, but you know what. So I think that's it for the SCG, yeah?
Yep.
First one, anyway. We got another one. So after that, a week later, we went to Charlotte, where the one true hero, Jund, by Brian Huffman, won the day.
Everyone was expecting the other deck to win, I think.
Yeah, it's actually not a good matchup for Jund. You think that it would be because you have like all those Thoughtseizes and stuff, but nope.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter. He's not even playing the 4 Lilies, which is one of your better cards in the matchup. Which is kind of funny. So the list here is it's got 2 Thoughtseize, 4 Inquisition for its discard. So those are all good. That's pretty normal for what we were seeing. this is the Dark Confidant list, which I think is really helpful because you just want to draw more cards here, and then through Liliana the Veil. Does this deck have a Ghost Quarter? Yes, it does. So it's pretty common to see one Ghost Quarter in Jund lists now.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of just play that instead of your 4th Raging Ravine or your Treetop Village.
Makes sense.
Which I see most people do. So it's not relevant here, but it's relevant versus Tron and the Eldrazi deck.
And
so
it's going to matter a lot more going forward.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons I'm looking to just cut the red is because I just get to play like 3 Ghost Quarters. So that's really good. And then the sideboard here, 4 full Ender Mages, so definitely in on the land hate plan. Is there a Blood Moon? No Blood Moon, but Pyroclasm, Shatterstorm, Thoughtseize, Painful Truths, Night of Soul's Betrayal, Unravel the Aether, Ancient Grant, Obstacle. You hate Night? Yeah. Like creatures are 1/1s, right?
Yeah. All my creatures are dead.
Yeah. It's this deck, it doesn't have a better matchup versus the Grishol brand is what they're calling it, which is just an awful name. It's only got 2 Scavenging Ooze instead of 3. It's only got, not like a lot of extra discards, so I think he just had good draws. Yeah. I didn't actually watch these finals, but
I don't remember them well enough.
Yeah.
But so the Goryo's Vengeance deck, or whatever stupid name they're coming up. It's a Goryo's Vengeance deck,
yeah.
let's be honest.
The Reanimator deck.
Reanimator deck that's can fizzle or just kill you super quick.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the tournament where in the semis the player played Pithing Needle and named Borigmos instead of Borigmos.
Or Borigmos Enraged. And then Bob Wang rules lawyered him, which made people very upset with him, actually. Well, if you look at the Channel Fireball video series they uploaded it's almost all negative.
Oh, no.
People are not happy, apparently, which, I mean, get over it first. If you're going to be playing in a competitive event, this is the stuff that happens. You need to protect yourself and not be sloppy.
Yeah.
Which is what it was. This is the same as when Patrick Chapin got that game lost at Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think it was the Worlds or something. People got all up about it, but I mean, he played sloppy and he got punished for it. I didn't feel bad for him. And it's the same thing. You just can't play sloppy. At this level of competition, when you want to needle something, you name the exact card full.
Yes.
You don't say Liliana, you say Liliana of the Veil.
Because there are a lot of lilies, and you will be real sad.
You need to be very, very particular about what you name, and sometimes you can get burned if you don't. And this is just one of those cases. It sucks. I feel bad for him, but
he's not going to make that mistake ever again.
Oh yeah, no, he's going to name every card.
And this was another one of the
name on full name.
Yeah, this is another one of the decks that some people were thinking might have something banned from it.
Yeah.
Just because turn 2, you can kill somebody on turn 2 with this. The only thing I think is because it's much more fragile and it can fizzle and it hasn't put up the same results as some of the other decks. I think it is still more of a fringe deck.
Does it do anything good for the format, though? It really doesn't.
It doesn't.
It just makes the format less fun to play.
Yeah.
The positive of having it legal is so that randos who just like being degenerate can do this.
Right.
And it's kind of good, but the downside is you just get a bunch of non-games that are awful, and this format is really, it seems like it's drifting towards combo. We just don't have something like Force of Will or I guess Twin anymore to police the combo deck. So I think this deck's going to be really good now because I think its main predator, or one of the main predators, is gone. Twin was just good versus deck because you can reman the right spell.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore. So what are you going to do? I don't think a blue-red tempo deck is going to be playable at all. So I don't know, man. I'm scared.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what happens as things start approaching with new events.
Yeah, with the Pro Tour, I think we'll learn so much.
Now, there was another list for Charlotte that I was rooting for, and it was Josh Cho's Black-White Tokens.
Black-White Tokens, yeah. Ariok Champion main, whoa.
This has become the new go-to. Not only is it because you gain a bunch of life off of all your token generators, but it basically makes your Pestermite null and void. You know, the Pestermite deceivers can't. You're gaining life whenever you make them. So
I guess this isn't as big a deal anymore.
I mean, it's not. Being protection from black and red is pretty relevant with how the format, because like Burn, Zoo, those are still going to be real strong. And then, of course, all those Jund players and Abzan players out there. So, but
you just won't stop.
Yeah, but because
it's a sickness.
It's a sickness. Because he's running 4 Bitter Blossom main board and he's only got 1 Sorin, he needs life gain. So having the champions just basically cancels out and you get a free token a turn.
Yeah, I think this card's good. I mean, it's $40 now, so you know it makes your budget deck into not a budget deck anymore.
That's why I have not bought them, because I was a slacker and was like, I don't need them right now. Nobody else is really playing black-white tokens. And then I went and started buying all the Mardu Pak stuff, and now I come back and it's like $40.
It's very expensive, yeah.
I haven't bought it.
Kind of funny. There's also Gideon Ally of Justice, Ally of Justice, Zendikar. 2 Gideons in here. That's kind of cool. You were right. This card is being played in black-white tokens. I wasn't sure if it would be, but you were, and you got it. So, hats off. You did it. Other than that, this deck's pretty stock. 2 Timely Reinforcements main. You don't always see that, but you do often. You have 4 paths, 4 Intangible Virtue. There's some removal, Murderous Cut and Slaughter Pack. You also have the discard, Inquisition and Thoughtseize. The Spectral Procession makes some tokens. Lightning Soul makes some tokens. A bunch of stuff makes tokens. 26 lands. Is that normal for these decks, or
no? And the main reason he's doing that is because he's also running the Flagstones and Ghost Quarters.
Right. He's got 4 Ghost Quarters.
4 Ghost Quarters in there, 3 Flagstones. So just by adding in that little bit of extra there, he's adjusted it. But this way he does have more use against Tron, and you can see in his sideboard too, having 3 Fulminators. Like he needs a way to deal with Tron.
This guy has a way to deal with Tron. 4 Ghost Quarters main, 3 Fulminators on the side, 3 Stony Silence. Yeah. We're not worried about Tron.
Yeah. So his sideboard and his main was pretty well positioned for that weekend. I'm sure there'll be a few tweaks that he'll do as well going into the next couple of weeks leading up to the events. And this, you can see, he had a lot more main board hate too, like the Slaughter Pack, the Murderous Cut, and things like that, where some other lists have had a little bit less on that. So just a few little things to note for this deck.
Yeah, it's a cool deck. I've always thought black-white was interesting. Like I would build the deck. I have a lot of these cards already because a lot of them are just uncommons. So, this is always something to look at. This is still a budget deck. Like, if you want something that's a little cheaper, you don't have to go out and buy, your set of Tarmogoyfs and your set of Scalding Tarns. You can use Marsh Flats. I think this is just the cheapest fetch land. They're $42? What?
There you go, guys.
Whoa, that's expensive. Okay, buy the, it doesn't actually matter that much. You can just buy the,
just get Windswept before they
get Windswept beats and stuff like that. Like, wow, okay. It's still pretty budget, though. Like, you can get these cards for cheaper, and there's, cheaper versions. Ghost Quarters are, uncommon, which is sweet.
Yeah. I mean, this is a very easy starting out deck. There's a reason why when Wizards made their modern event deck...
Should have been fish.
Should have been fish, but there's a reason why they made black-white tokens. It's very easy to learn. And very easy to understand your line of plays that you need to do. So it's a good deck. If you want to play something fun, that even the Jund and Abzan players get annoyed at, because
it's a good matchup for you.
Yeah,
it's 60-40 for you. I think somewhere around there.
Something about that, yeah. So it's a fun deck. You might see this a little bit more too coming up, because now Josh Cho did very well with this deck. You'll see it pretty much in the open circuit, not as much at GPs, but definitely at the open circuits, you'll see a few players top 8 with the deck every so often. There was, I think, a Pro Tour we saw a couple people playing it, but that was just a specific meta choice that they made, or was that Worlds?
Hey, I don't remember. I think that was a Pro Tour. I don't remember that being played at Worlds at all.
Maybe
I could be. I remember
one of the two. There was a few people from a specific team that were rocking.
Worlds was like all affinity and
yeah, all that good stuff.
The one where you cycle all your creature and living death. Yeah, it was all like living end and affinity.
Yeah,
such a weird metagame.
Also to note, Jeff Hooglin got 8th at this event.
He also top 8 at this event.
So, in case anybody was wondering.
Made the finals and then top 8 again.
Yeah, but the rest of the lists are pretty straightforward. A lot of affinity, a lot of effect in that weekend.
Quite a bit of bloom.
Just
these Naya Company decks. They're just zoo decks with Collected Company in them.
Yes, and my buddy just made his.
What's that?
My buddy just made his company list. It's gross.
It's real gross. There's another Kikigor deck in 19th. That's interesting. I thought it was kind of just Jeff Hooglin at this point, but other people are starting to pick it up already.
Yeah.
And then we saw another Glorious Vengeance deck at 26th, so also someone else playing that, and some Infect and stuff like that. Most of this is pretty normal, I think. So.
Cool. So those were our open events for basically the last break that we had.
Yeah.
Couple upcoming events. Just do a quick run through for the GPs at least. They've basically broken it up that they've clumped up all of the tournaments per weekend, essentially. So all the moderns are more or less this weekend, all the standard are that weekend. And so March 4th is the start of essentially our modern circuit for GPs, which they've got one in Italy, they've got one in Australia, and they've got one in Detroit there. And that's March 4th through the 6th. So very beginning of March for all you guys out there looking for some modern, to be able to check out how things are going in that regard. Then sliding along, we've got our next round in May, Los Angeles, Charlotte, and we've got one in France. And the France one is a little bit, actually, that's in August. Wow, there's only 2 for
that's August.
May. So May 20th through the 22nd. And then our last couple to round out the summer, France, August 26th through the 28th, Indianapolis, and China there for the August stuff.
And try the Chinese one.
And what's that?
Try to pronounce the Chinese one.
No. I could not even gonna attempt. I struggle enough with pronouncing regular words, so trying to pronounce something in a different language.
The Italy one?
Where is it? Nope, not even just. I'm just gonna. Let's talk about Oath of Gatewatch.
I think I know the Italy one. I think it's Bologna.
Okay, see,
but I'm not sure. Bologna? No, I don't know, man. I know people pronounce this bologna.
Yes.
It's wrong.
But we'll give recaps and talk about those events as it gets up to that time period.
Well, you'll try to say the name then.
Yeah, we'll try. I'll sit there and practice and start learning Chinese by then.
This is your homework. Just sit at your computer and learn how to pronounce all these names.
Alright, so Oath of Gatewatch has officially been released, which also means it was the start of the ban list and everything. But did you get to do any of the pre-release or anything like that?
I did. I played 2. Nice. I did a two-headed giant and a non-two-headed giant. I think I got 3rd in the two-headed giant and like 6th in the non-two-headed giant one, something like that. So pretty good. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, pretty solid. I just gotta say, Chandra is ridiculous in this limited format. By the way,
I lost. That's why I lost.
Yeah.
So I had a match. I lost only to Chandra. 2 games. I was immensely ahead on board. And my opponent top decks and plays a Chandra, and then warps my entire board, and then starts killing me with 2/3 a turn. That's so frustrating.
It's so good.
It's so annoying. I just can't beat it. No, like, how do you beat it?
You can't. In limited, that's like the bee's knees. You
just
can't hope for anything else.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
6 mana, win the game. God.
Sorry about your luck.
It's like me versus Elspeth again. Like.
Oh gosh.
All right.
So some cards that we might be seeing. We were looking through some of the lists, and why don't you get us started with our first one, the Oath, at least.
So I think the only oath that okay, you have Oath of Gideon. I have Oath of Nissa as I think is good enough. It's just something that is going to help the green decks be more consistent. Like having something to do on turn 1 is great. You know, you don't. It kind of feels like you're doing this in a grindy kind of mid-range matchup or deck. So like Jun kind of styles. And something else to do on turn 1 other than Thought Seizing is kind of nice.
True.
Thought Seizing is great. I love Thought Seize. Card. I want to take your cards away, that's just my thing. So that's always good, but having another option is good. And this does hit a lot of stuff that you're looking for. You can always take a land if you need to, but a creature or a planeswalker, if you do this and just reveal Liliana, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And, I'm pretty interested in that. Just picking one from the top 3 is essentially what this is, which is similar to Ponder or Preordain. It's not as good, clearly, but it's still very interesting. Another relevant thing is if you have 2, they do legend rule each other, so this is an enchantment in your graveyard for Tarmogoyf.
True.
If you are, again, playing it in that kind of shell. Do you see anywhere else that you can put this? Maybe like some kind of green creature-based combo deck or something?
Maybe. But yeah, like you were saying, like the whole Pondering essentially is pretty important on that kind of turn 1. Get yourself set up nicely. But I do think kind of like what you were talking about, like the Abzan or Jun list might be something to try it out in. I don't know if there's anything else that I really care to have it in. I mean, Scape Shift, I don't feel like I need to be throwing that down on turn 1. I'd rather be
you can just play the blue cards if you're playing Scape Shift, which are much better. Thing is, like the blue cantrips are banned, so like Ponder and Preordain are too good for Modern.
Yes.
So if this is not as good as Ponder or Preordain, maybe it's on the same level as Serum Visions, or maybe it's a little worse tthan Serum Visions, but
it's still pretty good for
Serum Visions is good. Yeah. This is a 4 of in like every blue deck, so if maybe this becomes a 2 or 3 of in some green decks.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I think it would be. It's not going to be like a huge player. This isn't like metagame changing or anything, but it's very interesting. I think it's a good card, and I hope it sees some play.
Yeah, I think it.
I have like 3, so hopefully.
So you're ready to start jamming.
Yeah, no, I'm ready.
So the other oath that I was thinking is Oath of Gideon, and that is just because of the fact that black-white tokens is a thing. It's a 3-cost enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you put 2 1/1 white core ally creature tokens on the battlefield, and each planeswalker you control enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on it.
So are we just playing this in a deck that's got like 3 Gideons and 2 Saurons?
Yeah, essentially. And so you can basically say -4 on Gideon when you play him. Now you've got your emblem, and guess what? Your Gideon's still alive.
Yeah, that is very good.
So
that's real good right there.
So just for that fact, I think it might be cool. I'm ready to try out at least a 1 of in my black-white token list.
Yeah.
And see how that works out.
Because it's not the most efficient token producer, right? It's
But I mean, turn 3 is your turn that you want to make guys. But if you sit here and go, well, I can turn 3 this into a turn 4 Gideon.
That's pretty good.
That's a pretty good setup right there.
Think I'm about that.
So it's like you're either playing this, lingering, or you've got something to make guys on turn 3 is what you want to do. So I think this is it would fit best in that list if people are going to start running it. I will, but I don't know if other people will. But mine's more planeswalker oriented anyway because I don't have the champions right now. So I run more planeswalkers than most people.
I mean, planeswalkers are sweet. I like planeswalkers. I pick them very highly in Legacy Cube.
Yeah.
So the next one I had down here is Goblin Dark Dwellers. This is very much a mid-range only card. Like the Grixis deck might want this. I think Jund, if it is a deck, maybe has 1 or 2 of these. Just making, a 5-mana 4/4, obviously not that great. You put Menace on that, it gets better. And you put, like Terminate on that, or, just a Lightning Bolt or something, it gets a lot better then. And I think, if there is going to be a deck that wants to grind just real hard and does have spells that you can flash back with it, this card could be a real thing. It is only, you're limited to 3 mana or less, so that's fine for the most part. Like, you can still get, like, Maelstrom Pulse, you can still do all your cantrips, you can, flashback. I was gonna say accumulated knowledge, but that's not legal. That'd be sweet though. I love it. Accumulated knowledge is legal in modern. Then we'd have like a good card draw spell. Awesome. Anyway, yeah, I think this is pretty sweet. I've been playing Pauper, so accumulated knowledge.
Makes sense.
I'm a brain. I think this card's pretty good. Do you think it's gonna be good enough, or just not quite there?
I mean, 5 mana is a lot of mana to spend.
5 mana is a lot of mana.
And that's the only thing that I'm hesitant about.
Yeah.
But, like, its ability is good. Menace for a 4/4, you're swinging in every turn, essentially.
Yeah, it's a clock.
Like, it is. It's a good threat, and like you were talking about, the flashback is pretty relevant. But 5 mana... I mean, what deck would you want to see it in, then? Just, like, the another potential option for Jund? It's just,
I think, like, Jund, maybe the Grixis deck.
Okay.
Maybe some like blue-red tempo deck that wants a finisher.
That's not a bad idea.
I think like it is a finisher. Like it's a good card to cast and just hit people with. Like 4/4 in modern is big. That's a big old creature. Like to get 4 power and 4 toughness, usually you have to play green. You almost always have to play green.
Yeah.
There's no other color that gets it with a reasonable mana cost. Like you're not playing the red ones because they're like 5 mana, like this. But you get such a payoff here if you do cast this and you have something that's a good target in your graveyard. Like I said, I mean Terminate. Like you just get this is Snapcaster Mage. It's a 4/4. If there's a Terminate in your graveyard, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good value there.
Yeah. So I think there's a chance here. You're right. Like 5 mana is a lot. But there is enough payoff here that it might be worth it.
Cool. So let's see. What else do we got here? Everyone's favorite.
If this isn't a modern card, then I'll be very sad because I just traded for a set. But I'll be surprised. I'll be very surprised if this card doesn't make a huge impact.
All right, let me pull it up on stream. Where is it?
Well, I'll spoil it. Kozilek's Return. So this one reads 3 mana, 2 and a red, for an instant devoid spell that does 2 damage to every creature. So this does get around stuff like Etch Champion, which is sweet. Very happy about that. And then if you cast a Eldrazi creature with mana cost 7 or more, you get to exile it from your graveyard and then deal 5 damage to all creatures in play. Again, colorless source of damage. So protection from whatever does not matter. If this card isn't like a 3 of or something in Tron, I'll be surprised. Like,
I don't know why they would not put a 3 of in Tron.
I think you can also play this in your Eldrazi decks.
Yeah.
Just if you play black red now.
Yeah.
Because you have a sick Wrath. Like this card is very good.
Yeah, I think this was the one that most people were excited about when the spoilers came out. So you're gonna see it, guys. If you like having creatures on board, well then
that's
sorry.
too bad.
Yeah, because you're gonna be real sad real quick.
This card was good when I thought it was a sorcery.
Yeah.
It's not a sorcery. It's a freaking instant, man. Why would they do this? You can get Affinity's Manlands now. You can get Infect's Manlands. Like this is the sickest sideboard card versus Infect.
I don't want it.
It's so good. Like in response to your vines, or like you target their guy and get them to vines, and then you just get them so hard.
Surprise!
Surprise! Just such destruction, killing just everything really.
Sadness on the stack.
Yeah, sadness is on the stack after this resolves. That's for sure. I think if like Tron has played Pyroclasm in the past.
Yes.
And this being 3 mana is worse, but I think just getting to double Wrath
is
is that enough? Like that's gotta be enough.
I mean, most of the lists are now running Ulamog as well.
Yeah.
Like usually a 2 of, so you are going to be able to Wrath twice.
Called it, by the way.
So called it.
Called it. We called it, man. We knew Ulamog was just really good.
He's so good.
I think everybody did though.
You know what? I'm gonna exile your 2 lands.
Yeah. I'll exile your 2 most important cards.
Oh,
this is fun.
Mill your top 20.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Card is pretty good. So Kozilek's Return, I'm actually thinking of it this is a sideboard card for Grixis Control and Jund as well. I know I'm talking about Jund a lot, but there's like 3 cards that are all relevant for it so far. So it's just because it gets Edge Champion is so good.
Yes,
that is such a big deal because Edge Champion is a very difficult card to beat. I think that's one of the main reasons Affinity's been able to deal with, you know, the mid-rangey grindy matchups that have stuff like Ancient Grudge or, you know, Shatterstorm. You can kind of just get there with, or I guess Shatterstorm kills it anyway. But like Anger of the Gods doesn't, which is just so relevant.
Yeah,
is having this threat that you can just throw your cranial plating on and have it like 4 power, even with no other artifacts. It's just so powerful, and now you have a way to kill it. It rarely ever has more than 2 toughness unless you're putting counters on it with Steel Overseer.
Right.
But this just kills Steel Overseer too. And Steel Overseer is 3 mana as well, so you know this matches up very favorably here. I think this card's just like tier.
Really excited to start seeing that then. I didn't even think about it first until you started saying all this stuff about S Champion and stuff. So
yeah, like it's the best sideboard card versus Affinity other than Ancient Grudge now. I think, or like. It might be better than Shatterstorm. I think Shatterstorm is difficult to cast, like at 4 mana, and Affinity just has so many cards that you get with this anyway. Like all their creatures die, literally every single one, and you can even get their manlands with this, which is why I think it's better than Shatterstorm. Because you can just do it on their turn. It is completely nuts. I don't know why this was printed.
Because they said, you know what, Tron seems like they need some help, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. The deck already looks like it's about to take over, and it needed to get better. Yeah. Do you have any other ideas for where this might go, or is that kind of?
No, I think that was a great description for that one.
Yeah. So I guess we can just move on. You want to take this next one?
Yeah. So our next card that we've got is we're actually moving into more Eldrazi stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's another deck that is getting ready to kind of take over.
It seems like it.
And let me actually just pull up the image so you guys can see.
I think this one is less likely than the one after, but
this one's still a strong card. So Thought-Knot Seer is what we're talking about, guys. 3 mana. And, of course, a waste mana added. So 4 mana to cast it for a 4/4. That when he enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a 9-land card from it and exile. When he leaves the battlefield, opponent draws a card.
So 4/4. We've talked about how that's good stats. Colorless mana is not that hard for the Eldrazi deck to get. They have like Eldrazi temples and stuff like that. So you know this should be castable. And getting an exiled card from their hand is very good. Thing is, if this does die, they do get to draw a card. So you're not really like you're just trading for one twice. So you're not up a card there, which is why I think this might not be as good as some other options. I do think it's very good though. I played versus the Eldrazi deck, and my opponent had this in their deck. They played, I think they had 2. Each time they played it, I just like terminated it or whatever. But they still took my best card. And then I had to use a removal spell on it. Which, it being a 4/4 couldn't be the bad lightning bolts that were in my hand.
Right.
So, this card's pretty real versus decks that kind of want to grind.
Yeah, or if there's something that's like trying to build up some combo stuff.
Yeah, and it's also good there.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty good. It's at least a nod for the sideboard, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might justify a main board of it, but I think it's probably could fit in better in the sideboard.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because you can just play this on turn 2. If you go Ibogan into Eldrazi Temple or like any dual land, the deck plays a couple ways to get 2 mana out of 1 land. So you can get this out real quick, and it will disrupt stuff like Storm or I don't know. Like Storm actually is just amazing for Storm because it's a clock. It also takes away a card, and they can never deal with it, so they're never getting the card back. Then it's a 2-for-1. So yeah, I think this is really interesting. I think it's at least a sideboard card, and it might be a main deck card.
So yeah, definitely a good addition to the black-white Eldrazi deck, which again, that was a deck that needed more cards added.
Yeah, no, totally. This is kind of why I'm afraid of that deck and why Ibogan might end up being banned or something from it.
I was also thinking that they might ban Map,
Get Tron.
Tron is dominating and the black white are starting to dominate.
I think Ivugan also hits Tron real good. So this is the best explanation I've ever heard of Ivugan for Tron. I was playing versus a friend of mine, and she was playing Tron, and then she's like, "Oh, I just drew the card that lets me do whatever I want," and played Ivugan. And it's so true. Like, if you have Tron set up and you play an Ivugan, you just get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I just go look for colorless creatures. Yeah, they're cheaper now. Like, whatever.
No big deal.
Yeah, Ivugan, by the way, $40. Go find them and put them in your trade binder and get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of them now.
Yeah.
So our next Eldrazi to talk about would be Reality Smasher.
Yeah.
This one, so expensive with that 5 mana that you can cast so quickly and easily with that black-white Eldrazi deck. But
yeah.
4 colorless and a waste mana again for a 5/5 with trample and haste.
It's 4 generic and 1 colorless.
True. Sorry.
There you go.
I got so
you gotta get it right.
Colorless. 4 colorless.
Yeah. It actually matters now, which is kind of the thing.
Gross.
It's like a pseudo 6th color. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know. I like that they changed the mana symbol so they're not the exact same, because that was confusing for people.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's always weird.
It will be for a while. So Reality Smasher is like a scary threat, because anytime that you would like to try to kill it, you also have to discard a card to kill it, because it counters that spell unless its controller discards a card.
I think this is the new Blade Herder. It's just better.
Yeah.
Just like, you don't need to have any cards exiled. You just don't have to care about that.
Yeah.
It's got haste, which is awesome. Trample, awesome. I like everything about this card. I'm just all about it, man. And they can't even target it easily.
No, they
can't.
can't.
They just have to have a dead card in hand if they want to target favorably.
Yeah.
Like, you can make them Edict, but not many decks actually play Edict effects. Liliana the Veil's one. You have to play black. I don't know of any other color that gets Edict.
Yeah, pretty much it right now.
I don't know if there's going to be a lot of black decks anymore. Like, well, we'll have to see. Especially the Lily decks. Like, the Grixis doesn't play Liliana.
No.
Maybe they play one.
Right.
So, like, maybe they have to switch and try to do that, because I think you just can't beat this card with Grixis. Like, it just kills you. They can terminate it, but it's a 2-for-1, which is
get ready to discard another card.
Yeah, no. So I think this card's real.
The Eldrazi deck is just getting better, guys.
Yeah, it just got Thundermaw Hellkite. So that's kind of what this looks like. 5 mana, 5/5 that has haste and some form of evasion. Very good. If you have them, you probably don't want to trade them.
No,
I'll say
hold on to
them. Is there another deck that can play Reality Smasher, though? Like, does Tron want it? I don't think they do.
I don't think so. Not right now, at least.
Yeah. So next, I have a cycle. I think this is... I think 2 of these are going to see play. 1 probably not. These are the Manlands, and wow, you actually got all 3 up there. Real nice. You're better at this than I would have been. So we have Wandering, Ephemeral, Needle Spires, and Hissing Quagmire. I think the best one here is Hissing Quagmire. And then the blue-red and the white-red one, I think it's just not very good.
No, like 4 mana for a 2/1 first striker.
Yeah, it's
sorry,
just
double strike. Sorry,
double
striker.
It could have been 3 mana.
It could have.
It could have just been 3 mana.
I mean, what? I don't see any deck that in Modern right now that's interested in it.
Nope. I think any friend of mine has a theory on this metagame, which I'll actually go over when we talk about the new Pro Tour metagame and a deck that might be very good versus it that is in these colors.
Cool.
But the other ones are just better. Like, even the red-black one from original Zendikar is better than this land. I think this is just the worst of the entire cycle. 4 mana for a 2/1 is just super disappointing.
It is.
It has got double strike, which is good, but it's just really disappointing.
And the red-blue one's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So, like, enters battlefield tap like any of the man lands. You pay 4, you get a 1/4 red-blue elemental, which has the ability to switch its power and toughness for paying 0. So you can just sit there and just go bam, 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 bam. I'm just going to keep switching his power touches.
Yes.
There's no limit to the amount of times that you're able to do that. So you can say, swing in with this. He's a 1/4. You know, no blocks. Cool. I'll switch his power. They try to bolt it. Switch it back.
So
guy alive.
If you have a lightning bolt and you're going to play versus this card, what you do is when they activate it, you respond to the ability and then do it. So if they do that, there's going to be an activation on the stack already. You respond with the lightning bolt. They have to activate it again. Or, what is it? It's a 1/4. The lightning bolt resolves, and then they have to keep it as a 1/4, but they can't because the activation's already on the stack, so it dies. There's actually no way around it. If you just respond to this is important, because if you have a lightning bolt and you're about to get hit for 4, you want to not have that happen.
You want to stop that.
Yeah, so you lightning bolt in response to the ability being activated. This is some LSV tech that I had not thought of, but now I've thought of it, I guess. It's very good. You definitely want to know that one. Still a great card.
Like, no, I agree.
I think these blue-red decks, if there is the fabled blue-red tempo deck that some people are talking about, it's probably going to want one or two of these. You know, just as a mana sink. Is it better than Desolate Lighthouse as a mana sink is the question. You know, I don't know. You probably just played in conjunction with Lighthouse, though. Because, Lighthouse, the cost is having a colorless land. Mm-hmm. The cost here is having a tap land, which the deck can afford. Yeah. So, I think you definitely play some of these. Mm-hmm. And 4 power for 4 mana is fine. That's an acceptable rate.
Cool. And then, of course, Hissing Quagmire. 3 mana for a 2/2 Death Touch is awesome. Yeah,
it's good. I think it's like the second best of the new ones. I think the black-white one's better. The black-white one was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the same as the red-black one, which I guess is saying a little bit to the power level of this cycle. But I think Hissing Quagmire is the second best. Just having, a land that can be a removal spell is super good.
Yeah.
This one, again, I can't stop talking about Jund, man, but I don't know if it's good in Jund, like maybe as a one-of. I think this opens doors for just like a green blacklist, which is something I've kind of been looking at.
Rock back.
Yeah, kind of just bringing the rock back. Actually, I've been looking at Death Cloud.
Ew.
You want to do fun stuff, you play Death Cloud. So there's a couple different options here. It can attack as a 2/2, it's fine. It blocks very well. Obviously, just trades for like anything it can block. Except for Needle Spires. Gotta watch out. What's your ranking for the power or the power of the manlands from this entire cycle, like all the enemy colored ones?
I do think the Shambling Vents, the black-white one is the best.
Yep.
Like 2/3 lifelink is just good. Like most of the time you're gonna be able to do really well with him.
Yep.
And I think the hexproof is cool, but there's not enough blue-green decks that really want it,
right,
for it to matter. But I like Hissing Quagmire up there, like you were saying, with the Shambling Vents.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Where do you think the blue-red one ranks? I have it in the middle.
Yeah, I'd say it is. But like you were talking about, like some of those decks that you could put that mana sink into it.
Yeah. So my ranking, I think, is the same as yours then. I have Shambling Vent, Hissing Quagmire, Wandering Ephemeral, whatever the blue-green one is. Can't remember the name. It's the 2/3 Hexproof for 4 mana. I think it's actually good enough for Modern. The top 4 are all good enough. And then Needle Spires is just bad. I think it's just bad.
Yeah.
Like, it does 4 damage if it's not blocked, which I guess is good, but there's just nothing this can do to, like, a Goyf or anything with 3 toughness and any power. Like, it trades. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks really unexciting.
Yeah, I'm not really caring about it.
Yeah. So next, we have a card that I hadn't thought of until a friend of mine brought it up. This is in kind of the same vein as Kozilek's Return as to why I like it. Mm-hmm. So Reality Hemorrhage is 2 mana, deal 2 damage to a target creature or player. That's awful right now, but it's devoid. So because it's devoid, again, we can get cards that have protection. So Etch Champion's the big one, I think.
Yeah.
What are the other ones? He had like 5 cards it was good against, and I just can't remember them. That's super disappointing. Anything that's got protection from red. Oh,
Core
the
Firewalker.
white, yeah, Core Firewalker, and also Ariok Champion, I think it was called, the $40 one that's in black white tokens.
Yep,
So it can kill that as well.
Ah.
So it's good, and I think it's like a burn sideboard card.
I can see that actually. Yeah, because if they throw down the Core Firewalker and you don't have any way
you just
to
lose
deal with
to
it, yeah. So having this is actually really smart.
So this is a way to kill that. So I think it's a good sideboard card for burn. You probably don't want this over Kozilek's Return in the mid-rangey decks,
Right.
but I think if you're looking to deal damage to your opponent's face,
This could also, yeah.
This does that. Not very well, but it does it. And it also does kill some problem cards for a burn deck. So I think this is a sideboard card only. You do not main deck this.
No.
I will just be so upset if someone main decks this card over a Lightning Bolt. Because it is just in every way worse.
It is.
It's great and limited, though.
Yeah. Removal's always
Shock
good.
is real good and limited. So you're kind of on board there? You just
I think that's smart. Like, because pretty much if I have white in my deck, I'm going to try to fit Core Firewalker in there.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I think as a sideboard card, just to hose on those players and make them feel real sad is great.
Yeah. I like making my opponents feel sad sometimes.
Yeah.
This is probably why people play Tron. Makes me sad.
Yes.
Ban Tron! And the last one here that I have, another sideboard card at the natural state. Just green, destroy target enchantment or artifact mana cost or less. I think I got that right. This is really good versus Affinity.
It is.
If you can't flash back an Ancient Grudge, you should probably just play this.
And
this is green.
Yeah, a lot of people were running Nature's Claim.
Yeah.
But this is a way to cut them out without giving them life. So if you are on a deck that cares about dealing actual damage and not infect, then yes, you want to be playing this over Nature's Claim.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the artifacts it misses. So there's Wormcoil Engine.
Right.
Doesn't get Wormcoil Engine. It gets the tokens because there's 0 on CMC. It hits Oblivion Stone, which is really relevant.
Yes.
I am very glad that this is not 2 or less, because 3 or less is just huge gains.
Everything in Affinity it hits.
Hits everything in Affinity. All the cards.
Everything.
I think. Yeah, it just kills them all.
If you're facing Lantern Control, it hits everything in Lantern Control.
Yeah, hits everything. Hits Ensnaring Bridge, which is definitely what you're worried about. I think it just hits everything but Wormcoil.
Yeah, that's so that alone. If you were caring about damage, pick that up and use it.
Yeah, I think this might just be better. I'm trying to think what it misses. I just can't think of anything. It's relevant. This kills stuff like Courser, like enchantment creatures. Also kills Eidolon.
Yep.
I don't know how relevant it is for Eidolon, but it seems pretty irrelevant, honestly. They don't play more than just the Eidolons for enchantments, as far as I remember, and I don't want to bring a card in that just kills Eidolons, but
that's what I want to be doing.
Kind of a thing, I guess. If you have completely dead cards in the matchup, like you need to borrow your Sign of Bloods, your Dark Confidants, or whatever.
True.
That's kind of cool. I do like this card. I think it's going to be a role player. Again, I've got a foil, so I'm really backing it.
Nice.
Nice. Do you know of anything else that you thought might be good enough? Because that is the end of my list.
Let me do.
Are any of these Planeswalkers going to be good enough? Nissa. I'm kind of thinking.
I don't think there's a deck for her yet.
Yeah. That's fair.
But being a 3-cost Planeswalker is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty big.
So maybe there is a deck for her that we just have not seen yet.
Haven't thought of. Yeah, you could be right.
So I think that would be one of the ones.
What about Hedron Alignment?
What is the?
All right, Hedron. This is a good one.
Oh, yes. I want this card.
I want it to be good. I think this is just the most hilarious combo win since Maze's. This has got to be the funniest way to win since Maze's End, right?
Yes.
If you pull this off, you're just a hero.
All right. So it's a 3-cost enchantment, guys.
Yeah.
That's hexproof, so you can't even interact with it. Just got to hang out there. You pay 2 mana and scry. But at the beginning of your upkeep, you can reveal your hand. If you do, You win the game if you own a card named Hedron Alignment in exile, in your hand, in your graveyard, and on the battlefield.
And it's got 1 and a blue, scry 1.
Yeah.
So this card's a bad card. let me just say this.
Let's just get that over with and done with now.
Like, to set this win up, you need to be able to put 2 copies in your graveyard. You have to play a copy. That's easy. Have a copy in your hand. Not that hard.
No.
And then you have to exile one of those from your graveyard. Wow. There's so many ways to disrupt this. Like,
yes.
Scavenging Ooze actually just browns you because you need to have 1 in your hand and your graveyard and exile, and they'll just exile both. So you just can't beat Scavenging Ooze.
Nope.
Unless you're playing like Pull from Eternity or something, I guess. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Huh. Alright. Either way, even if Pull from Eternity is good here, the card is still a bad win condition. Is it worth building around, though? That's the question. Like, can you make a deck that's maybe like tier 3 with this?
I
hope so.
you will see people do it.
Oh, people are going to do it. For sure.
And it's going to be great. And I can't wait to build my own because I played Maze's End when that was in Standard.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what silliness people can come up with.
Like, they've got to do it. How could you resist? Pretty funny. I guess Overwhelming Denial was kind of a thing. Like, if you're in a counter war, it's the trump, but I don't know about that one. Overwhelming Denial is 2 blue, counter target spell, and it can't be countered. It's got Surge for blue though, so if you or your partner, I guess, has played another spell this turn, you can just cast it as counter spell that can't be countered. If it's counter spell that can't be countered, it's very good.
Yes.
Say that. I don't know if it's there though. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing that much else that I'm like super interested in.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. There might be a couple things, like, Inverter of Truth is a very unique thing. Whatever. There's some cooler cards here, but I picked up the ones I thought were most likely. There are other cards that have a shot.
Yeah.
I just don't think they will. And even some of the ones I picked out, I don't think will make a very big of an impact. They might see a sideboard slot every once in a while, but
yeah.
Not a huge amount.
Cool. So moving along then, that's our thoughts, at least for Oath of the Gatewatch.
Yep.
With it just coming out, they'll probably see a few cards pop up here and there, people trying new things.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect time for people to, right after a banning. So one of the cards was something everyone was expecting.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, alright, Bloom is a little bit too strong. And they decided to disrupt Summer Bloom from it because that is the main accelerator in it.
It's what made the deck. Like, you can't play Amulet Bloom anymore.
People are trying.
Amulet Titan or something.
Yeah, they're trying with adding more Zuzas and Explore and this and they want to see what they can do with it, but Summer Bloom made the deck. Summer
Bloom was the reason the deck was good.
Yes.
I've played games where my opponent went, like tap land, like, I don't know, Teleria West into Gemstone Mine, and then played a Summer Bloom, put a bunch of tap lands into play, or the dual lands, and then played a Primeval Titan on turn 3, and I died very quickly. I haven't played a game where my opponent played an Amulet of Vigor and then waited for turn 3 to play a Zuza. I mean, like, I've played that game, but I've played much less of those games, and they're less consistent because I can interact with that.
Yeah.
Can't really interact with the Summer Bloom. So I think it's way worse. Clearly, it's just way worse. This deck went from best deck in the format to like tier 3. You could probably still do it, like if you just want to go to FNM and play. Like,
no one's gonna stop you. But...
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. Like, I'm all about that. Like, find some other way to do this. It's not gonna be as good, but that's okay. It was too good. I kind of wish it was Amulet of Vigor that was playing instead of Summer Bloom.
I was thinking too, but then I was like, Amulet's really only being used in this deck, so this way they can be like, hey, if you want to try to come up with something else and make it more fair, go ahead with an Amulet. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I just think Summer Bloom makes it so the shell is still here, and you're less consistent and you're less fast, which is kind of what the idea here is. banning Summer Bloom just kills the deck.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I would ever play it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I played it at 1 FNM when it was still the full deck, and I think I won. So...
It was also a deck that, if you understand the deck and you are
Oh
good
yeah,
at Magic, you can do well with it. If you are good at Magic but you don't know the deck, you're not going to do as well as it. If you're, understand the deck but you're not good, like you just have to really have the right synergy and understanding to make it work, because it is a little bit of a complicated deck.
Yeah, you really got to know what you're doing. I definitely screwed up a lot when I was playing, so I felt like there was a lot of. It's a skill intensive deck.
Yes.
A lot of people will say, "Oh, you just need to learn your lines, then it's fine." It's completely not true. Your line is almost always different. Like, there's so many times it's like, now I need to get this line and this line and this line and this line and this line, and you have to think about all this ahead of time, and it's different all the time. Like, sometimes you don't need your, I don't know. Sometimes you don't, or you do your Vesuva, so your Primeval Titan can't get red and white mana this turn, so you have to go about it a different weird way, and you play your Vesuva and bounce it with one of your bounce lands, and then you play it again or something. So it's a really complicated deck, and I think it rewarded really skilled play, but I think it rewarded it too much.
Yes.
So I'm glad it was banned.
So our next card,
the
one that brought out all of the haters and all the sadness.
I have a set in my hand right now.
See,
because I was gonna switch to Twin.
And it was just reprinted in Modern Masters 2015,
Why would
guys.
you do this? That to me was the most, or the biggest kick in the nuts, right? Because I know there's a bunch of people like, oh well, Twin just got some cards reprinting. There's like Raymans, there's Splinter Twin. There's no Deceiver, but those aren't that expensive. But the deck just got a little bit more affordable. So I'm guessing people bought into it.
Yeah.
Like, with all the extra Splinter Twins floating around, like the card went down to $12. So it's, wasn't that expensive anymore. Get some Splinter Twin going, and then they banned it. Like, why? Why would you do this?
So that brings out the whole drama and controversy about when Wizards was thinking about removing Modern from the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that is why they wanted to remove Twin.
Oh, it totally is.
I think it is partly why, but I also think that after Pod was banned, the deck that we saw consistently placing in the top 8, consistently winning GPs,
it's the best deck in the format. There's no
Splinter. Like, if you were playing blue-red, you should be playing Twin. It's basically how it was set up for Modern.
The deck had almost no bad matchups. There was the black-green decks were a bad matchup, and tokens, if they had the right kind of deck, was bad.
Right.
Everything else you could sideboard and be ahead in, and even even versus the black-green decks, like Keranos is just such a card, just kills you. So the deck had no unwinnable matchups, had a lot of really good matchups, and then it had a decent amount of matchups that I think were skill/sideboard based. That to me just says the deck is oppressive almost.
And the fact that you could sit there and turn 4 just surprise I win.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Didn't really make for very exciting games.
Oh no, it made for awful games.
Because I know I've been on the receiving end of that many times, where it's like, well, I have no vines in hand, I have no path in hand, I have no removal, I have no nothing.
Guess I'm dead.
All right, pass turn. Untap, here's my mountain, here's my steam vents, Twin, game 2. No, that's not fun, guys.
It's not fun at all.
I don't, and I know people that have played it and said that it is a very boring deck to play.
Oh, it is.
Like, the matches are relatively the same every time you play it. Like, yes, there might be a few tweaks in here. Oh no, they disrupted my first Twin, now what am I going to do? It's still the same stuff that you're going to expect to play every time.
Yeah. So it's just not an interesting deck at all.
Right.
I think it was interesting at first, like when it was in Standard, for like a week, and everybody realized it was just really dumb. I think in Modern, it was just too present. When you look at the metagame and like a third of the players are playing Twin sometimes, that's too much. Yeah. And it also, like, it was very good, and it was, you know, it was kind of like the modern deck. Like this is what you think of when you think of modern.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It feels so weird to ban it because, like I said, it's turn 4 deck, so it doesn't break that rule. It's completely fair, other than the fact that it just wins, like that, like how it wins. You know, it's just playing counter spells and like 2/1s.
Yeah.
So if you took out the actual twin part, incredibly fair deck. All it's doing is trying to like be a tempo deck with the threat of activate or a threat of twinning you.
Yeah, a threat of an
Problem is that's
OTK.
just it's very good, yeah, to do that. You know, you still have a clock with your deceivers. They're 1/4s, but they have power, so they can still kill you. So that's relevant. What am I trying to say here? I just lost my thought completely. That's so annoying. All right, here's what it is. This is why I'm gonna miss Twin. It pleased the combo decks.
Ah, okay.
I dislike that it's just always here and it's really oppressive and it's just always doing stuff. But at least it stopped Goryo's Vengeance from being crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
There we go. I did.
There you
I
go.
figured it out.
That was the point of view we were trying to get across.
I was trying to get to that and I just like lost my way somewhere.
Other thought is you know, yes, Splinter Twin is gone, but we still have Kiki.
Yeah.
Hooligan and playing Kiki Chord. You know, you could play some just Kiki based decks if you just want to play that and not do Chord at all and just do, you know, blue, red, white, Jeskai, Kiki stuff.
You just
still do
take your
stuff.
twins out and put Kiki Jikis in. I don't think it's as good.
It's not as good. You could.
You could do that if you just really want to play Splinter Twin, how it was.
Mm-hmm.
Being a turn later and also having to have triple red is definitely makes the deck worse.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could just do that. You also don't get 2-for-1 when you go for it, and they have an abrupt decay.
True.
So it's better. I think it's actually better for Jund. Maybe it's not better, but it's also good, or it's still good. I don't know. I think people overreacted to the actual twin ban.
Mm-hmm.
That said, it did do good things to the format. It did bad things too, and I guess Wizards thought it did more bad stuff. I really just wish they'd banned other stuff as well then.
Like what else? What are you ready to see banned?
Like something from Tron.
Yeah.
I think it's just too good now.
I think it'll be a very dominating presence in the
like we could have banned Ivugan. That would just destroy that Eldrazi deck too.
Well, and that's the thing. I think they just want to wait and see too.
Yeah.
Now that Twin is gone, now how is Tron and how is the black-white Eldrazi deck? And we know they're going to be real good, but maybe they just need to see for sure, see if anything else comes out of it.
I kind of have a feeling that the metagame is going to devolve to a point where it's the combo decks, or the decks doing unfair things, and the decks that just really want to punish them. So like
get into that stage.
I think we might have a stacks type deck, or like Pox. Is Pox gonna be good now? I hope so. That'd be sick. I want a Raven's Crime, people.
Yeah. The 8-rack style.
Yeah, I just play 8-rack.
If this is the case, I might consider just main Mardu Pox and just play that, because it's basically black-white tokens, but you add in red in there for main board. Well, for like Crumble to Dust, Boom Bust. You run Smallpox in there, and you just hate on everybody. And Surgicals, you know. Just get rid of everything all the time.
So this is kind of why I'm looking at Death Cloud, because you get to play like 7 discard spells main plus like 2 to 3 Death Clouds, and you have that permanent advantage, and you just wipe out their hand completely. So if you get Tron to that point where you're able to wipe out their hand, and they haven't played, you know, like a Karn or something, or like something you just can't deal with, you're gonna win that game.
Yeah.
Like, they need to draw, you know, because you get to run a set of Ghost Quarters, and you have Fulminators in the sideboard. So you get to disrupt their Tron lands, you get to take out their entire hand so they can't cast their Wormcoils or whatever, and then, you know, you have threats still. You still have, you know, apparently you don't play Tarmogoyf in that deck, which seems crazy to me, but you still have, like, your Beast token from your Thrag Tusk, or, like, your Garruk Wild Speaker can still put pressure on them. I think you just win from there. The question is, can you get to that spot? Like, I don't know. this is where testing is useful.
True. And I think we're going to see like a rise up of affinity.
Yeah.
Until the Tron decks start running the Kozileks.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be back and forth with this whole thing of Zoo is also going to be another strong one. You're going to see a lot of variations in the Zoo.
Burn.
Burn is always going to be annoying.
So I mean, these are the decks that try to punish those
yes.
So.
Infect is going to have a harder time.
You think so?
I think initially, I think if things get established where Tron might be number one and stuff like that, I think Infect can do well and be able the decks to punish it. But initially, when we're having to deal with the Burn decks, the Zoo decks, and the Affinity decks, all also trying to climb up,
right.
We're put in a very tough spot.
Are those bad matchups?
Burn is a bad matchup. Zoo is like miserable, almost unwinnable, unless you have like turn 2, turn 3,
right?
Because they run disruptions in there, bolts and stuff like that to kill their creatures. They've got they're just so much quicker than you are because you have to go to like 17 or you have to fetch and shock yourself, and you're already at a slight disadvantage from that. And they just are like, all right, here's my Nicodle, cool. Here's like an Eidolon. Here's Tarka's command. Bam, bam, bam. You dead yet?
Huh.
So.
Yeah, I've seen that matchup played. It looked pretty even to me. I've played it a bit. I played it from the Effect and the Burn side.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would rather face Burn over Zoo any day.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess Zoo's probably a little harder. I played the Burn Infect matchup. I've watched that. It looked very even to me.
Yeah.
So is Zoo as bad as like Jun was? And I remember like every time I see an Infect deck and I'm playing Jun, I just like get all giddy because I'm gonna.
I think I would rather play Jun than I would rather play Zoo.
Holy crap!
Like I that's how much I do not like that matchup.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever won a Zoo matchup.
Huh. Okay. It's that bad. Huh?
It's that bad for me personally. I could not speak for some of the others Infect players, but I know at least one of the other Infect players at my shop has not won against that matchup either. But like Jund, I don't have to just go for the Infect plan. Like I think I've killed more people with regular damage in Jund and Abzan with like my spell skites and Dryad Arbors than anything else. So and nobles,
noble.
So like
I believe.
I don't know. So I'll play Jund and Abzan over Zoo any day.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Affinity versus Infect. How's that matchup?
That's 50-50.
50-50? Okay.
Yeah. Like they can gum up the board, which is annoying. But like they're just trying to race me down and try to deal as much damage. I'm just trying to get as many pumps in and hope they don't get a spell skite or something in my way or anything.
It's got to be like one of the most uninteractive matchups ever. You're just trying to kill each other. Like who dies first?
It's true. I played it last Tuesday, in round 3, and we finished our games and we played 5 more games before the round ended.
Wow.
So like they're super quick. So like I mean it can be kind of boring with how I'm trying to do this, you're trying to do that. We're just kind of doing our own thing. But like there is still some interactions with like the spell skites and especially post board with having nature's claims and things like that. But they're so quick that it's I don't know, it's 50-50 really with that, I'd say.
Okay. So I think Infect's still a good choice then. It's a fine choice, you would think.
Yeah, I'm playing it because Regionals is coming up. Oh, I meant to talk about that too. Regionals is coming up February 6th. Let me pull up the map though real quick for those that have not seen on Star City. That's not the map. This is the map. So there's one in Maryland that I'll be going to, but a lot on the East Coast, all across. You can see their little state stuff there. So I'll be going to that, and I'll be rocking out. In fact, so that'll be a good way to see what other people are playing, and get an idea kind of what I'm going to lose to a lot in this meta. But yeah, is there any other decks that you think is going to be doing better now that we've seen the bannings?
Yeah, some decks that gained. I think any deck that's just. I think there are a lot of like tier 2/3 combo decks, and they all got better. Just like not having to deal with twin is so
like our Living End and Ad Nauseam,
any kind of like turn 5/6 deck, something that's just kind of combo at that point is gonna get way better. I think even like Storm gets better through kind of a weird way. I think one of the decks that could beat Storm with just the discard decks, where you Thoughtseize and Inquisition like 3 times and they just you exile their Past and Flames and stuff from their graveyard and they can't win. But those decks all got way worse. Because one of the big reasons that they were good was because they beat Twin, but they lost to Tron.
Yeah.
So I think anything that got preyed on by a mid-range or kind of like a slower combo deck that just couldn't race Twin is just better now. So yeah, I think Living End's better. Storm, I think, like I said, is better. I can't think of a lot of these other combo decks, but Modern is full of them. Ad Nauseam, I think Ad Nauseam got way better too. So I think the winners are combo that's slower than Twin. The losers are mid-range.
Yeah, okay.
We're just not in a mid-range format anymore. Where either you're playing big stuff or you're trying to kill the big stuff. It's kind of sad.
And that is how Modern will be for a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of what we have to live with.
Well, that kind of also factors into some of our Pro Tour predictions, though, some of our top contenders of the decks that we expect to see.
So I guess we should actually have a list here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna write it down so that we don't miss anything.
So actually, when it comes back to it, I'm like, see, guys, we told you right here.
Yeah. All right. So decks that are gonna be good: Affinity. All right, we got Affinity, Tron, Infect. What else?
Let's see. Zoo, Burn.
Zoo, Burn. I think this is most of the decks that I think are tier 1 now.
Yes.
Affinity, Tron, Infect. Oh, I see. There we go. That's what I did. That was wrong. I was like, Zoo and Burn. Where's Burn? I put it. I had Zoo Burn.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, Zoo Burn. So this seems like that's kind of our tier 1. I think under this is going to be just like combo decks in general. We kind of have a lot of stuff that's going to try to take advantage of the extra time you have now. I guess Infect, Zoo, and Burn kind of just like wreck those decks too, though, don't they? Like, I don't think Ad Nauseam is a good service.
I love playing against Ad Nauseam.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite combo decks to crush their hopes and dreams. Living End is a tougher match, but it can go. It basically just depends on how their hand's looking. If they can cycle into the right stuff, it can be a little bit tough, but it's a race, really. Can I kill them before they can get the right amount of stuff in their graveyard?
Right. One we missed is Black X Eldrazi.
Oh, okay. That is true.
Yeah. So right now, I think the tier 1 decks are Affinity, Tron, Black X Eldrazi, Infect, Zoo-Burn.
Yeah.
If you want to brew a deck, try to make it beat at least most of these. I think the ones that are easiest to beat are probably Tron and like Affinity, Burn. Okay. They're all just so linear, and the hate cards are so powerful, right? You have like Stony Silence for Tron and Affinity. By the way, Stony Silence is like $15 now. So if you have them, go find them in your trade binder. So like Stony Silence is great. Stuff that exiles any lands, like Crumble to Dust, is going to be great. The new Sowing Salts is just easier to cast.
So much better.
Awesome spell. Definitely in your sideboard for any red deck, I think now.
Yes.
Maybe not like Burn, but...
No, but anything else that you're running it, I think it's worth.
It's also very good versus the Black X Eldrazi decks. Is a lot of their powers are crazy lands.
Get rid of all their temples.
Yeah, get rid of their eyes, their temples, their Urborgs even. So pretty good there. Infect, you want like a lot of discard and removal, and also Spellskite is just insane. Yes.
Now I think we might get lucky initially and see a little bit less Spellskites, especially main board, because a lot of people were starting to. They basically had to run the main board because of Twin, and it was just an extra bonus to have them in there against Infect, where I think a few more people might try putting them back in their sideboard.
That's really interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I thought Spellsky was just going to remain good, but looking at this list of tier 1 decks, this proposed metagame,
Right.
like this is not
What's
this isn't the
happening.
metagame for sure.
This is just our discussion.
Yeah, this is our discussion of the metagame. In this proposed metagame, it's only good versus Infect, right? Like nothing else here really cares about it. Like it's fine versus Burn if you have blue mana in your deck. Because if you don't have blue mana, there's like, the lightning bolt does 1 less damage is not a very big deal, and then your guy can't block. But if you've got blue, you can just negate a burn spell every turn, which is great. Like that's very good. So yeah, I guess you're right. Like less spell skites. I'm kind of surprised. I thought there were just going to be a bunch of them.
Well, but we'll see though, because it could change as if there's more stuff that pops up and changes.
Oh yeah, of course. There's a deck that a friend of mine has been thinking about is like a Mardu mid-range deck. So you lose green, so you lose Tarmogoyf and like Abrupt Decay and some of your good removal.
Yeah.
But what you gain is you gain white sideboard cards, which are all really good. Like you have Rest in Peace, which is going to be good for any kind of graveyard deck. Just that card always surprises me.
The Goryo's Vengeance and stuff. Yeah.
It always surprises me how versatile that card is, but it's so often that I'm like, wow, it'd just be so good right now. So it's good there. You have Stony Silence we talked about. We have stuff like the Aryak Champion.
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about these cards because they're just really good. You get red, so you're going to play Lightning Bolts. You're going to play, all your burn that you want to play. And black has that discard as well as threats like Tasigur, and you get to play Lingering Souls and stuff like that. So you have very good matchups when you're grinding because Lingering Souls is a trump. It's very good. You get to play all your discards. You go 4-2 probably, Inquisition and Thoughtseize. Maybe it's 4-3 now because, discard is very good versus a lot of these decks here that... Actually, it's not good versus like 3 of them. All right, you're probably just 4-2 still. Yeah, I thought discard was going to be better. It's going to be good versus any of the combo decks that we think would be tier 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get you get white sideboard cards. So it's kind of an interesting deck. Like, I don't know if it's good, but
definitely
if this is how the metagame, it's something to test. If this is how the metagame turns out, it might be an option.
This also reminds me, now that we don't have Twin, Delver is going to start coming back.
Oh, yeah.
So don't forget about that, guys. Because now...
people just want to play blue and red.
Yeah, I mean, they're good colors. So now and because Twin was in there, nobody could really play Delver. You'd see a few people do it, but, now Delver is going to start coming back again. So be prepared to have to deal with that Insectoid.
That stupid Insectile aberration. I've actually been playing Delver in Pauper.
Nice.
I have a blue-black Delver deck. You get to play Gurmag Anglers.
Ew.
And Thought Scour and Mental Note, so the Anglers are just always 1 mana. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Pauper's a sweet format.
Alright, so any other decks you can think of, or anything else that we should keep an eye out for the Pro Tour or potential modern metagame?
I think just saying the combo decks that were slower in Twin in general. There's so many of them.
Yes.
But I think they're all just a little bit better now. And there were a lot of really good ones before. Like Living End was a good deck.
Yes.
It had its bad matchups. It has really good matchups though. Can you think of anything specific?
No, I think
maybe tokens.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some token players start popping up a little bit more.
I kind of feel like tokens lost a really good matchup in Jund. Like the mid-range decks is where they shined. How's the matchup versus aggro?
It can be good because really you don't have to change too much of your deck from what you had built in to help you deal with Twin. Also works against the aggro. You have the pass in there. You've got dismembers and murderous cuts and all these extra ways to just kill things before you can get your tokens, and before your tokens get too many or too big for those aggro players to deal with. But it is a little bit slower, so you have to make sure you have that kind of stuff. So, if you're playing against Affinity, you're not going to do so well game 1, but game 2, game 3, you might have that advantage, especially with the extra sideboard cards. Zoo is, you can sit there, and as long as you've got guys in the way, as long as they don't have trample, you're going to be okay until you can start really stabilizing once it gets to the little bit later in the game, like that mid stage, turn 4, turn 5, because that's when you can start throwing down like your sword and get the lifelink and gain everything back. But
yeah,
I think it's still a deck to try out and see, but Tron, once they get like their O stones and stuff online, it makes it tough because that just wipes everything you're trying to do.
Stupid Tron.
Right, you just keep coming back to it.
such a jerk deck.
Other than that, I think it's a solid tier 2 deck.
Okay.
It definitely can sit there and mess with some of the decks out there, but
it can do the thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be as strong as like you were talking about as was when it was kind of more mid-rangey with the Juns and the Abzans and all that.
Cool. I guess one other thing I would have liked to ask you earlier, but I just didn't think of it until now, is so do you agree with this ban list? Like Summer Bloom Twin Band, is this what you would have done?
I 100% agree with Summer Bloom, and I would have done that.
Would have banned that as well.
I would have banned that. The Twin, that one was not necessarily on my radar for this one.
Yeah,
but I'm okay with it.
You're okay with this ban?
I am. It's like with the discussions we were having earlier about it, is like since Twin got banned, or since Pod got banned, we have consistently seen Twin being in multiple decks in the top 8 or winning the major tournaments like GPs and stuff like that. Since then, and that's been about a year's worth.
Yeah, has it been longer than that now?
It probably has, but
I've been a little longer than that.
So it's been consistently a powerhouse, and because it suppressed every other blue-red deck, that Delver went away.
Yeah,
you couldn't have any Delver, so like I think because of that, I think it's okay that it was banned.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, there's some good stuff Twin did, but there's also some bad stuff that Twin did. I think I would have had a different ban list. I would have banned
something.
I would have unbanned a bunch of stuff. I think the ideal modern format is one where there's like 6 cards on the ban list. it's probably more than that.
Everything powered up. Yeah.
I would have unbanned a lot, like Green Sun Zenith, Bloodbright Elf, Jason Mind Sculptor, or Ancestral Vision. If that gets unbanned, we're banning Twin, which is fine. I think we ban Twin, unban Ancestral Vision. Gives Blue something to do, or Jace, Vision or Jace, I think, and then you don't even necessarily need to ban Summer Bloom anymore if you do that. Like, I think if just a bunch of stuff gets unbanned, I'm not saying that Deathrite Shaman should be unbanned, but
nope.
Some of the less ridiculous offenders probably just could have come off the list, and I think then Bloom is an acceptable card to have legal. And then, like I said, some alternate win condition for Blue if you want to ban Summer Twin or Splinter Twin. I also would have accepted this ban list if you just unbanned one of the Blue win cons, and this is that's fine. Just gives Blue something to do. I think right now it's not a good enough reason to play a lot of the Blue decks. There's the control deck, but I don't know if that's even very good anymore either. Its Tron matchup is really bad, and it can't beat Affinity either.
Right. It was out there to help police against some of the other decks.
Yeah. So I don't even know how much Blue there's going to be anymore.
Delver, I'm telling you.
Delver, yeah, I like the idea of Delver. It's just a bunch of Delver decks. So yeah, I think I would have done different things. I really am I'm an advocate for unbanning a bunch of stuff. I think that would be a much more fun format.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
I'd love to see Stoneforge because I think it's safe enough in Modern that yes, you can get like
Batter Skulls,
but that's that and the swords. That's it because we don't have Jitte. We don't there's no super ridiculous cards. Like Batter Skull is going to be annoying, but a lot of people are going to be running so much artifact hate anyway. Like
I think turn 3 Batter Skull is just still too good.
Yeah, okay.
It's just way too good. If you ban Batter Skull, then I'm like, sure, Stoneforge come back. That's just think if you turn 2, just turn 3 Batter Skull is too fast. Yep, there it is.
4 lifelink. Yeah, that's true. Like any deck that cares about dealing 20 damage, I don't want to see that.
Like if you attack with your Goblin Guide and do a, you just can't attack with your Goblin Guide, I guess.
Yeah.
But then like they just put it in your turn and attack you back. So.
Right.
And it's got vigilance.
So it don't matter.
It's too good, man. It's too good.
All right.
Again, like if you ban Batter Skull, then I think you can unban the core lady.
Stoneforge Mystic.
Stoneforge Mystic. I forgot the name.
The GP promo of the year.
Yeah.
My
I thought the
commander card
discussion
is basically what it is.
The discussion about it getting unbanned was really funny.
Yeah.
People read into the stuff that Wizard says just way too much.
They do.
Oh, hopefully you'll be playing your Stoneforge Mystics with your Batter Skulls, and everyone's like, oh, they're unbanning it.
That's happening. Guys, buy all of them.
Guys,
now.
this is it.
No, it's not.
So is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Or I think we're...
No, I think that's it. Like 2-hour show almost.
Yeah, that was a little less. I think like an hour 45.
Yeah, we did good recap and stuff. So before we duck out, what sort of projects are you working on right now, or where can people find you?
I think the easiest thing is just follow me on Twitter. I think it's it's right under my little picture of Lala Troll, the best card ever. You can just follow me there. I'll tweet whenever I'm going to do anything. I do make YouTube videos. I do it very sporadically. I haven't done one for a little while. I am actually thinking of starting to do some popper videos, though.
There you go. Get some popper.
That format is real good. It's very interesting. Like, you just get to play some of the most powerful cards.
Yeah.
Like, Gush is legal.
Ooh.
You can't do anything broken with it, but, I mean, I'm playing Gush.
I'm gonna play Gush.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Nice.
And speaking of the ban list, Cloud of Fairies just got banned in Pauper.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is good, because that card is stupid. Like, there were too many decks that just took advantage of the bounce lands and untapped 2 lands when they played Cloud of Fairies and just made too much mana.
Yeah.
It also hurts Delver, which is good. Anyway, what about you, man?
So I'm Nan Man, guys, or the real Nan Man, pretty much all over the interwebs. All of these in response to videos are going to be up on YouTube, and I've started doing versus videos. It didn't start out as a verse video. Initially, it started out as us just like playing, and I recorded it, and now we're actually going to start doing it as a versus video. So we're going to do Black White Tokens versus Infect soon. We did Blue Red Storm versus Abzan Company, which, if you guys want to check that out, you can check it out on the YouTube. Also, if you're on the Twitch page, if you just scroll down, there's a link to it down there. So we're going to start doing more versus videos. Tournament circuit has started up, so I'm going to be playing at those, like the Team Sealed event in DC. I'll be going to that one and trying to not play very poorly in Sealed, because I've come to terms with the fact that I can really only play one format very well, and that's Modern. So yeah, we'll see how poorly I do. I'm hoping my teammates can carry me for that. But yeah, lots of stuff coming up, guys. So if you're checking out the Twitter and stuff, that'll be the best place to know what sort of projects and everything that I'm working on. But that's going to do it for episode 6 here of In Response To. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, peace.